Time for us now to bring you the interview with our featured artist this week. That's Carvalho.
This is Sound Fusion Radio, the breakfast show with DJ Glass, and my name is Carvalho. Hello.
Hello, Rob. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good. There you go. Excellent. Well, nice talking to you. Thanks for allowing us to phone you today and interview you. So, what's the weather like where you are, and whereabouts are you in the country?
I'm in Birmingham, and at the moment it's really nice, sunny.
Yeah, we've got the same down in London. Yeah, it's about 30 degrees down here today, and it's been very hot in the studio today. So
yeah. Apparently, they're expecting thunder, but we'll see.
yeah. Well, they're always expecting something, the weather people. They have to give themselves some kind of justification. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, want to talk to you and about your music, really. So, I mean, do you want to just start off by telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and that'll be a great place to start.
Yeah, sure. My name's Rob Carvalho. Just the stage name is Carvalho. Singer-songwriter. I'm based in Birmingham. Started off doing session work. Worked with people like Urban Species. Did some work for a band who was signed to RCA some years ago called Original Son. Mm-hmm. From that I've done some touring as well with various up-and-coming artists. And through the sessioning route, I came to do started to write my own material. Got a band together as well called the Extended Family, who I'm hopefully going to be going back out on the road shortly to promote my album, which was released in April. And I believe you have a copy as well.
We do, yes. Yeah, we've got a copy here, and we'll be playing tracks from that during your feature week, so that's all good stuff.
Great. Yeah. As I said, the album's out on all digital outlets at the moment. We are planning CD release as well shortly, but that'll probably tie in with the album launch. Hopefully, we've got it pending for September of this year, and we will be doing some gigs in London as well. So okay. I'll definitely keep you in the scheme of things with regards to that.
Yeah, keep us in the loop, Rob, because, obviously, one, from the point of view we'd love to come along, and two, from the point of view that we're, probably be able to help push it a little bit for you. So there we go. Your phone's making a few funny clicking noises. I don't know if that's something we can do something about.
Okay.
So, how did it start with you in music? What was the start of things with you and getting into making your own music?
It was mainly what happened. I mean, it started off with me buying my first bass. I've always, grew up in a household where music was always around us. Yeah. It was always, because it's on my mother's side of the family. We had some links to a band called the Pioneers. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They were signed to Trojan.
Yeah, certainly have.
Records, and I got to meet them as a youth.
Fantastic.
Growing up, and it was kind of like after meeting them, and not just that, just having music played in the house all the time. And my parents are from the Caribbean, but we didn't just have reggae. We had the R&B. We had the pop music of that time, and outside of the home environment, I heard rock as well as even going as far as band music. So it was musically very rich and very fortunate.
Well, that's good.
To grow up in that kind of environment. Hence my album sounding the way that it does. I mean, some people, because it's quite diverse, the tracks, but the bass of it is soul and funk.
Yeah.
But when the artists that I grew up hearing, they were also quite unique in their own right. We're talking about Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Gil Scott-Heron, Curtis Mayfield, and so forth. All of them all had their own quite unique sound. And
that's right.
Some I don't know what it is, what's happened. I'm not saying like soul has gone backwards, because I don't think it has, because it's still pushing forwards. But as I said, all those artists had an individual sound, and you knew it was them. And I think hopefully things are coming back around to that. I mean, a really good example of somebody who's got their own unique sound is Omar.
Yes.
I'd
agree.
As well as Donny as well, you know, British homegrown acts. And, you know, on stateside, you know, Maxwell doesn't sound like D'Angelo, you know, so it's all, you know, as I said, the individuality is there, and that's what I wanted to get for myself, and that's, you know, basically my aim with my music is to, you know, to get my own sound, as well as keeping that soul music as the base.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. So what you were saying about, you know, people like Jill Scott Heron, and you know, their unique sound is something. You know, sometimes things to come forward do have to go backwards, and soul is one of those things that I think has gone backwards several times to come forwards. You know, even with neo soul and that kind of thing, you know, it has some very, very firm roots, and going back to those roots can often lead a path forward. And I think that's what you're saying.
It's the same with regards to, you know, you mentioned about going back in order to go forward. You know, as on my album. You know, I really paid attention, like, some harmonies and the overall feel, and that's due to, like, my, you know, one of my influences, you know, the Temptations and very sort of, like, you know, 4-part harmony soul bands at that time, as well as listening to, you know, gospel soul acts like Take Six as well. He's had quite a big influence on, you know, on my overall sound, but as I said, the aim is, you know, hopefully, you know, to achieve my own vibe. That was the, you know, the whole purpose of, you know, me, you know, making my own music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sounding great, and you know, obviously with such a wide variety of influences there, you know, that does kind of reflect in the music that you have there in your album, because, you know, it covers sort of a multi-genre, and although the basis is soul and funk, there's a little bit of reggae, there's all sorts of influences in there, and I'm really liking the way that comes across.
Thank you.
You know, that's really good. So, what are your what's your earliest memory of a public performance? Share that with us.
Wow. In Norway.
In Norway, wow.
Yeah, in Norway. That was in a place called Bergen. Mm-hmm. That was my first tour. That was with a friend of mine who just finished touring with a band called Steel Pulse.
I know them. Yeah.
Okay, as a covers band, and like we were playing like covers of rock songs, some soul tunes, just everything. And I remember one particular venue in Bergen where it was outside and it was like a farm.
Right.
It was like in a big field, and then we had all these students who turned up to come and watch us. It was interesting.
Sounds great. So you're playing open air, yeah?
Yeah. That's what you can call it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can create his own problems.
Really good experience. It's all made me the man I am today, or the musician I am today. So.
Well, there you go. That's brilliant. So how long have you been, you know, performing, writing, producing your own music now?
With regards to composing and writing my own music, I'd say I've been doing it because the album has taken me a while to make. It's taken me about 6 years, but that's partly because, as well as doing my music, I'm a teacher as well. So, and having in between that, I'm married and I've got children. So, having to juggle all those things, as well as, you know, trying to complete my album, hasn't been like an easy feat, so to speak. So, but And one of the another main reasons why it kind of like took so long is because I wrote a lot of music as well, and a lot of the music that didn't make it on this album, because there's 16 tracks on this present album, which is quite a lot of tracks, and I'm beginning to notice that a lot of people, the album tracks are actually getting smaller. They're going back down to 10, which is kind of like what I grew up with. It's not less.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be 8 or 10. And
well, it's what you used to be able to get on to a 12-inch, 33 RPM album. You know, that's right. Yeah.
Precisely. So the next one, which I've already started to write before this one was released, it's probably just going to be like a 5 or 6 track EP. But it's kind of like going to be a Brazilian kind of like feel, because I went to Brazil 3 years ago. I spent 2 weeks in a place called Bahia, Salvador.
Wow.
And I heard a lot of, I've always liked Brazilian music from when I was a child. Listened to a lot of Air 2.
Love Air 2. Brilliant.
George Duke.
Yeah.
Flor Purim. Some various other Brazilian artists. The Brazilian thing has always seeped through with my music, so I've attempted to have a go at trying to make a little Brazilian project. There might be some couple of instrumentals, and the rest will be song based. But that's my next in between project before I get back to the second album. My second album will definitely not have 16 tracks on it. It'll probably only have 1. Not really. We'll probably do that 10 or 12.
Yeah.
10 or 12 quality tracks. That's what I'm aiming for.
That's about normal for for an album, 10 or 12.
Definitely.
16 is extremely generous, Rob. That's
probably. It's because as I said to you, I wrote too much, and I just needed to get that out of the way. I mean, the stuff or should I say, the music that didn't actually make the album. There's some really good stuff to come. I'm quite excited, and it's nice as well because I know some artists can go through a dry patch, so to speak, in terms of being creative, and that never happened to me, and it's nice that I can go back and listen to the stuff that never made it to this one, and that can go forward to the next one. But it's going to be really good.
Well, it's never wasted, Rob, and from what I've heard so far of your work, I mean, it's great, and we're loving it here at Sound Fusion Radio. So, you've got stuff for a new album. We've got our ears open. That's brilliant. We're loving it.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll do is, I'll send you some kind of little pre-updates, prior to release.
That'd be lovely.
You can get some exclusives as well.
And we'll put them out as such, because we do love to play SFR exclusives. We get quite a lot, and we do love to bring them to our listeners. We're about the love of music, and we're not one of these radio stations that plays the same tunes 15 times a day for 3 months. We're not. That's not where we are, and we love to bring music from people that are independent, that are maybe not so well known, and and bring that for people to enjoy, because there's a huge amount of talent out there.
No, there is. I agree with that.
And yet in the charts there's a huge amount of non-talent that I don't think should be there. But there you go. It's So
I've heard that said before, actually. In an interview as well. But as you said, that's just how it is. Yeah. But having said all of that, I think hopefully things will change, because record companies will realise that a lot of these independent artists, who as you said, who are talented, they're losing out. These record companies are actually losing out, but it may be too late, because the independent route seems to be the way to go, because it cuts them out. So if they have to rethink their business structure, then they're going to have to come with something pretty substantial, and not even financially, in terms of the ideas. and their creativity, because a lot of artists are doing everything. They're their own managers, they market their own product, etc., etc.
They create their own label, and they even create their own artwork.
Yeah, exactly. There's no art department, marketing department involved. They are, their own marketeers, so to speak. So
you can see why, because at the end of the day, you in a world where you can put a tune out on Monday and by Thursday it's been downloaded 150,000 times, you have to make sure that you're pulling back the money that you're spending creating the music. And, back in the days when you used to go to a record shop and buy a CD or a 12-inch single or an album that you brought home and you physically had something, then there was money in it. But, of course, now it's just an electronic file and people can share it. That's the terrible thing about the industry. And it's got to be sustainable. It has to be sustainable. Yeah. And I'm not going to rattle on about that, but it's that's why stations like Sound Fusion Radio firmly believe in legality, firmly believe in supporting the artists. People have to be paid, otherwise there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Then exactly. You put in kind of like what you get out of it. Everything helps. In terms of for the musician's survival, to be able to make music.
That's right. Well, you have to eat, for instance, and people seem to forget that, when people are distributing tunes illegally on bulk, it's just so wrong. And you can't walk into a shop and pick something up at the shelf and walk out with it.
Precisely. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I've actually said that myself.
That's right.
In conversations and in other interviews, it's kind of like it's quite disheartening, but you have to keep pressing on.
Yeah, well, you do.
You can't keep on delivering the goods.
Yeah, you can't let it sway you.
No, you can't.
And a lot of artists say, that they're quite happy to release the music and they make their money out of gigging and that kind of thing. So there's different ways of looking at it. So you were playing live. You said you had a band together.
Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, I was just wondering. You said you had a band together.
Yeah. I've got a band together. I'm in the process of getting us back together for rehearsals for some gigs that are hopefully going to be planned. We're looking at speaking to my manager last week. We're looking at around August, September, possibly for the rest of the year, just doing some dates around the country, as well as the album launch, which is planned in Birmingham, and hopefully get some gigs, some shows booked for London as well to promote my album. So that's the state of play. I think the lineup for the band is, bass, keys, have a brass section, some backing vocals and percussion. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting and funky.
That sounds great. I can't wait to hear it. So keep us informed as to where you are, and we'd love to support you on that. Even if just come and watch you, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, no, we'll do.
That'd be brilliant. There we go. So. So apart from you got your new album coming out, you're working on your EP. Have you got any sort of longer term plans than that? Anything sort of looking ahead any further than that at the moment?
Not at the moment, to be honest with you, because I think because I've got with regards to what I've stated with my EP and working on the next album. I mean, I have got, having said, contradicting myself now, I have got like some collaborations that I've been lined up with various like people, like Brazilian Soul Crew.
Sounds great.
Kind of produce like soulful house. They're based in Sao Paulo, in Brazil, and I've had some links in South Africa as well.
Wonderful.
Because it's really strange how it came about, because I had a remix of one of my songs released in South Africa about 3 years ago, and it sold 19,000
Wow, that's
unit
great.
down there, and it's a remix of "Loving You." Actually, I'll send it to you.
Yes, please.
I'll send you that.
I actually do a Soulful House show on a Thursday night here on
Oh,
Sound Fusion
right.
Radio.
Well, yeah, I've got some tracks for you.
Oh, brilliant.
Seriously, there's a track I did with Paris Fesvet, I think her name is. She's a producer.
Wonderful.
And I think, but as far as I know, I've told Brazilian Soul Crew are going to release it on their label around August. But I'll send you an exclusive of the track. I think hopefully it should be up your street.
Sounds good to me. Myself and Anna, the station's producer, put together the show for the Soulful House show, so we'll be very interested in that music.
Yeah,
that'd be
definitely.
great.
I'll send you both tracks.
Wonderful. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I've got some other collaborations with some South African producers as well. Some really good stuff.
Sounds brilliant.
Good stuff, yeah. Some of the stuff there's one album that's going to be released that I've got a lot of collaborations on with for a project called the Juice Concept.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're based in South Africa. Some like young guys down there. I think they're about 18. They're doing some amazing stuff, some amazing house music. I didn't realise house music was as big because it's quite big here, but they say the South African market is probably, I think, the second biggest.
Yeah, definitely.
And the UK is the biggest.
We've experienced that.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph Gum moved to South Africa because of it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That was the whole point of him going there. He went there because of the house scene that was in South Africa. So, it's amazing how the stories come out. But
it's a small world.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Rob, would you do a drop for me that I can use on your feature if I just leave the recorder running make something up about DJ Gloss, Sound Fusion Radio, and your name? And
definitely. This is Sound Fusion Radio, the breakfast show with DJ Gloss, and my name is Carvalho.
That's wonderful. Thanks ever so much, Rob, for that. And just one more thing before we go, and that was, is there anything that you specifically want to say to the listeners of Sound Fusion Radio about your music, about maybe where to get it, about where to look?
Definitely. You can purchase my album, All the Things You Know to Be True, on all the regular digital outlets. We're talking about iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Google Play, and so forth. But obviously the main ones are, as I said, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and Google. You can get me on Twitter, Basehead, twitter.com, Basehead Dread, and my Facebook page is facebook.com, Carvalho. So basically that's it.
That's wonderful. Thanks ever so much, Rob, for that. And it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thanks.
Likewise.
Thanks for taking part in Sound Fusion Radio. Thanks for connecting with us and sharing with us. And, we're really looking forward to bringing your feature to air. And we'll hopefully, when your next album comes out, we'll speak again.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll definitely send you those house tracks. I think you'll love them.
Definitely. Yeah, if you get those across to Anna, she will put those, I'm sure, into New Groovin' 1 week soon, and they'll be part of our back-to-back Soulful House show in a mix on a Thursday night, which is called New Groovin'.
Brilliant. Wow, great stuff. No, thank you for the support, DJ Gloss.
Okay, you take it easy, and
you.
We'll speak soon. Thanks a lot. Cheers, Rob. You take care. Thank you. Thanks. Bye. There you go. That's Rob there, Carvalho, our featured artist this week, and absolutely lovely chatting to him there. And it was just nice how the conversation developed as we went on, and we sort of moved into places that we didn't know that Rob was sort of working, especially on the Soulful House front. So there you go. That's Carvalho, our featured artist this week in interview. Check out the Hall of Fame. He'll be there a little bit later on.
This is Sound Fusion Radio, the breakfast show with DJ Gloss, and my name is Carvalho.
Glossy. This is Sound Fusion Radio with DJ Gloss.